So we late. Well, I'm late. Yeah. Y'all come on in, Israel. Tuesday Brotherhood class. We are currently live on Facebook and on YouTube. Y'all come on in. We'll get started in a little bit as soon as brothers and sisters start to come in. Did you get the text I sent you? Okay, just no sign Christ. I tried to send it to you as well, Kanaka. I don't know. It said message failed or something. If you're able to, you can send it to Kanaka as well. And then you can just hold from chapter 14 is where we're going to start from. So you have to just scroll down that joint.
Say it again,
the chapter 14 is where we're going to start from the Josephus. So you just have to scroll down. And they got sections within the chapter, so it'll be like chapter 14.1 or 0.2 or something like that. See what I'm talking about. All right, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get it going, man. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Brakathum, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Ba'Shem Yahushai. It's Precinct also Thawashah, but the Isupk started 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana, man. Every Tuesday, we have the Brotherhood class live at the library, Hart Memorial Library, from 6:30 to 8:30 every single Tuesday, man. We skipped last Tuesday, right? Because we had the Lord's Passover that we had to prepare for. You know what I'm saying? Give yourselves a hand. Got Trooper Mathai with me as well. Give all yourselves a hand, man. You know what I'm saying? Trooper Halak, all the brothers and sisters that contribute into making this a success, man. You know what I'm saying? It was not no easy task. We all did it for one reason and one reason only, is to serve the Most High, man. You know what I'm saying? And I commend each and every brother and sister, man, that put in work, man. All right. So, being that it is Passover, right? Being that it's Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is the high holy day after Passover, we're going to talk about the 10 plagues of Egypt, right? The plagues that the Lord did in destroying our enemies and our oppressors, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we're celebrating right now, right? This is why we have the Feast of Unleavened Bread. This is why we have Passover. This is why we have majority of our high holy days and our feast days. It always comes, or the origin always can likely stem from our liberation from those that oppress us. Right? We don't celebrate no days off of a fairy tale, off of no rabbit laying eggs, off of no white man on a sled with flying reindeer. All of that stuff we practice, you know what I'm saying, is just a fairy tale and a lie that our oppressor gave to us, man, and serving other gods. You know what I'm saying? But our true identity, our true culture, and the holidays that we celebrated before we became slaves here in America is found in the Bible. Right? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous people make up the 12 tribes of Israel. This book called the Bible is only talking about the Israelites, and it gives us our history before we became slaves here in America. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why we don't know how we dress culturally. What food did we eat? What language did we speak? What days we celebrated? The reason being is because our oppressor put us in captivity and stole our identity from us. And today in 2022, we still want to celebrate a rabbit laying eggs. You know what I'm saying? You want to say? Karoka. Karoka. Also, Kazak just stepped in the building, man. Get that brother a hand, you know what I'm saying? Tell you, man, we still working hard all over the place. We still working, you know what I'm saying? It don't stop. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep on doing it till our king return, man. All right. So we're gonna start with Numbers 33. Numbers 33 and 3. All right. So if you read Leviticus chapter 23, it gives you a list of all the high holy days that the Lord set up for the children of Israel, for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous people to follow. Right. And these are our high holy days that the Lord command us, and he did not tell us to believe in any other fictional holiday that your oppressor gives us. You know what I'm saying? This is why the Lord redeemed us out of Egypt, right? The Egyptians had all type of gods. They had a god with a cat head or something like that. They had a god that was a cow. They had all types of gods, you know what I'm saying? And our people was following their customs until the Lord destroyed Egypt and pulled us out of the bondage under the Egyptians and gave us our own culture and our own identity, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's fast forward today, it is no different. We are currently in bondage without no identity, following the culture of our oppressor. And what we pray for is a second Passover. You know what I'm saying? A second Exodus where the Lord can redeem us from those that hate us. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that real quick.
Book of Numbers, chapter 33, verse 3. And they departed from Ramesses in the first month, in the first day of the first month. On the morrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out within high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians.
In the sight of all the Egyptians, right? This is what when the Lord redeemed us from the Egyptians, right? An African nation, people that was quote unquote melanated, had dark skin, but yet the Lord made a difference between us two. They had their own gods, their own way of living. Well, guess what? We had our own way of living as well. You know what I'm saying? And they hated us because we were God's chosen people, because we were stronger than them, because we were mightier than them. Don't that sound familiar today? What that sound like today? That's sound exactly what you're going through today as a black man or Hispanic man or indigenous man. The so-called white man oppresses you because he knows that you're chosen by God. You know what I'm saying? He sees all your ability. He sees all your greatness. And he try to put a stop to it by putting drugs in your community. You know what I'm saying? By shooting you down in the streets if he's a police officer. You know what I'm saying? By falsely accusing you of crimes and sending you to the prison by the tune of 2 million blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian men. You know what I'm saying? He does this because he don't want you to rise out of this condition that you in. You know what I'm saying? This is why we got to pray to the Most High, because he is the only one that can redeem us out of this. Right? Read on.
Come. For the Egyptians buried all their firstborn, which the Lord had smitten among them.
What the Lord do?
Smitten among them.
This is the God that we talking about, right? Right? They love to talk about God as all love. Yes, God do love. Right? He does love. He does care. He does all of that stuff. But guess what? He also kills as well. He also hates. Right? God is just not stuck on one attribute. You know what I'm saying? There is a time to love and there is a time to hate. You know what I'm saying? And right now, the condition that we in as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we should not love anything about this place. We should pray to the Most High that their firstborn be put to death the same way our children was put to death, man. The same way that Emmett Till was put to death. The same way, what's that young brother name? Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin. You know what I'm saying? The Lord gave us justice back then, and he can give us justice again. But what we have to do is stop serving their gods, right? Read on.
Come. Upon their gods also the Lord executed judgment.
What did he do?
Executed judgment.
Upon what?
Upon their gods also the Lord executed judgment.
Then not only did the Lord kill the Egyptian firstborn and destroy their infrastructure and destroy their country, but he also made a mockery of their gods, destroyed all their idols, right? And this is the purpose of each and every plague. The plague that the Lord set up in Egypt is all behind a false god that the Egyptians used to follow. And the Lord used that to prove to them that they were now no gods but him, right? Let's get Exodus 7 and 16. Let's start with the first plague.
book of Exodus.
Yeah, probably Haman. I don't know. The security dude, they probably locked the door. So, oh, my fault. You go ahead.
Book of Exodus, chapter 7, verse 16. And thou shalt say unto him, the Lord God of the Hebrews hath sent me unto thee.
The Lord God of who?
Of the Hebrews.
Only of the 12 tribes of Israel. Nobody else. God does not love everybody. If he did, why did he smite the Egyptians firstborn and none of the Hebrews firstborn? If God loved everybody, why only the Egyptians drowned in the Red Sea, but not the Hebrews? God does not love everybody. He's only the God of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous people, the nigger God, and nobody else. Right? Read on.
And thou shalt say unto him, the Lord God of the Hebrews hath sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness.
That they may do what?
Serve me in the wilderness.
Right. Just let my people go and give us the opportunity to exercise our own culture, right? To serve the Most High in the wilderness. And all that Moses requested from Pharaoh was just 3 days. That's all he wanted. Let's get 3 days off. We've been slaving, building these pyramids, building these statues for the Egyptians. And all we asked for was just 3 days. You know what I'm saying? But the Egyptians didn't want to listen to Moses. They rejected his request, not knowing that the Lord was behind Moses and the children of Israel. Right? Read on.
Come. And behold, hereto thou wouldest not hear. Thus saith the Lord, and this thou shalt know that I am the Lord God, and I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the rivers, and they shall be turned to blood.
They shall be what?
Turned to blood.
Now, is this fictional? Right? This is what the Lord did in destroying what? Think about it. The water is used for what? Go ahead.
For fishing and drinking.
For drinking, for bathing, for, everything that they need to use for that water, right? The same way that they destroyed the water system in Michigan. Well, guess what? This is what the Lord did in Egypt. He destroyed and plagued their waters, right? And you know why he chose the water first? Because the Egyptians used to also worship water also. They used to have a water god. You know what I'm saying? Let's get, if you could pull up a picture for me, Baba Kasha. The Egyptian god Happy.
Happy?
I think Hapi. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Put the Egyptian water god.
Just put Hapi, Egyptian god. It should pop up. All right. Let's get the image of these gods, right? And he was known as the god of the Nile. Hapi. It should hopefully. Or you can just hit Google search, it'll pop up. All right. So this is what the Lord did in proving that the water that they worship is now plagued. The water that they use to bathe themselves, the water that they use for drinking, the clean water that they took advantage of while our people was oppressed and working day and night, was only given bread and beer as a wage. Well, guess what? You know what the Lord did? Because they were so puffed up and thinking that they can rely on their natural resources and rely on their gods, God destroyed their gods. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Salaki, sir.
Did you want to read it or you just wanted a picture?
No, just a picture, sir.
Oh, okay.
Kind of. Oh, I mean, Dave, unless you want to read anything, you think is seen fit of who he is.
Yeah, I'll read it real quick.
Karo, sir.
It says, who was the god Happy or Happy? oldest Egyptian text to mention Hape was text of Unis, where Hape is mentioned as help. Hape was believed as the god of the Nile River, which played the most important role in constructing the Egyptian civilization. It was believed that Hape actually was the name of the Nile River during the pre-dynastic period of Egypt. Generally, he was considered as the god of water and fertility.
Yeah, most I thought, sir. You know what I'm saying? This is what the Egyptians used and used to follow. They had multiple gods. You know what I'm saying? And they thought that they can rely on their gods. This is why they was so rough and abused the children of Israel. Because they thought they had it all. You know what I'm saying? Well, guess what? The Lord ended up destroying their water system. All right, let's get in Josephus, because Josephus describes how it was for those Egyptians as well. Right? The Josephus is not a biblical text, but he was a historian, right? And back in the days that wrote about the the history of the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Writing down of what took place around those times historically, right? So let's.
This is in book 14.
Book 14. God.
Book 14.
God.
Chapter.
Start right at the top.
Chapter 1.
God. All right. If y'all got a Josephus, y'all can follow along with us. All right.
This in book 14, chapter 1 says we have related affairs of Queen Alexandra and her death.
Okay. Do you see where it says chapter 14?
Chapter 14. This is broken down into books and then chapters.
All right. Should be chapter 14. Book 14. One of those, right? Until the brother find it, right? We're going to continue on. Somebody give me Zephaniah 2:11 real quick. All right. This is what the Lord did, right? Proving that there's only one power is the Most High power, right? Imagine coming off from work, all right? Coming out from work from a hot day, sweating out there in the sun. As an Egyptian, you can't even take a shower. It's like, sir, okay.
Let's start. Now it was that Festus succeeded Felix as procurator. That how yours, the way you was talking about him reading.
And Josephus.
Yeah, does that start out like that?
Well, it's just Karo Khan, and it talks about Egypt or something like that.
Maybe
2:11. You go ahead.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 11. The Lord will be terrible unto them. For he will finish all the gods of the earth.
He would do what?
Oh, he will famish all the gods of the earth.
He's going to famish all the gods of the earth. What does it mean, famish? Go ahead.
Famish.
Mm-hmm.
He said he will famish all the gods of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like starving.
Right, starve them, right? Yeah, starve them, make them thirst, you know what I'm saying? Dry them out. You know what I'm saying? He's basically saying he's gonna make these other guys obsolete. Right? All these false idols that we worship here in America, they're gonna soon become obsolete on this earth. Right? You look at Santa Claus as a god. You look at that Easter bunny, not knowing that all these holidays that's celebrated here in America all comes from a false idol or false god, man. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord is getting ready to bring plagues on this earth to show that these people are no gods. They have no power on this earth. It's the same thing with COVID-19. When COVID-19 hit, America, who would have thought America would have shut down on this earth? With all its wealth and all its power. Tell me that, sir. You know what I'm saying? They had all the money. right? Supposedly all the technology. How could you not see something like that coming? You know what I'm saying? America is supposed to be so technically advanced and have the greatest medicine, the best engineering, all of that. But yet a disease that you couldn't even see shut down your whole country. You know what I'm saying? Only something like that could be done through the hands of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is getting ready to shut down all these strongholds on this earth and to prove that they're nothing. The same way he did with the Egyptians. Because they had all the wealth, all the power, the good water from the Nile, be able to take showers, not being oppressed. You know what I'm saying? Until one day the Lord shut all of that down to give it justice to the children of Israel. Go ahead, Rod.
Mm-hmm. So in Josephus, we got it's 20 books in Roman numerals, book 1 through 20 in Roman numerals. So when I go to book 14,
it don't pop up.
No, I go to it because you got book 14, and then each book is broken down in chapters.
Okay.
You said chapter. You said book 14, chapter.
Yeah, it should start from chapter 1. Let's see.
So book 14 talks
about Alexander. I will have to look through it. Yeah, I will have to, if you find it, you know what I'm saying? We go ahead and look through it. But jump me back to Exodus real quick. Yeah. You pick it up where you left off.
Verse 18. Book of Exodus, chapter 7, verse. Book of Exodus, chapter 7, verse 18. And that the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink.
Now, have you ever smelled dead fish laying around before? It don't smell pleasant. Now, think about all the living fishes that was in the Nile now died due to the Lord plague. That's thousands of fishes just sitting there, staking up the whole country. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you know what I'm saying? Because the Nile runs through the whole damn country. Now, that's a strong smell that you're going to have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? People was probably getting sick off of that smell. Throwing up, vomiting. It was seeping into their pores. They started to smell like it after a while. You get what I'm saying? Because it was no different, man. You know what I'm saying? The Lord was doing this to show them that they had no power on this earth, man. Read on.
And the Egyptians shall loathe to drink of the water of the river.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying unto Aaron, say unto Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thy hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone.
Right. This is what the Lord did, man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Officer.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it? God, the water will go ahead. Get down.
All right, so it's the book of Josephus, chapter, Salah. The book of Josephus, book number 2.
Okay.
Chapter 14.
Okay, the water.
It says, but when the it's lucky. But when the king despised the words of Moses and had no regard at all to them, grievous plagues seized the Egyptians, every one of which I will describe. This is it.
God, that's it right there.
Both because no such plagues did ever happen to any other nation as the Egyptians now felt.
Right. Egyptian was the most powerful country on the earth at the time. Nobody could have foreseen that at that time. They had all the wealth, right? Read on.
And because I would demonstrate that Moses did not fail in any one thing that he foretold them. And because it is for the good of mankind that they may learn this caution, not to do anything that may displease God.
Yeah, I'm right. Read on.
lest he be provoked to wrath and avenge their iniquities upon them.
Mm-hmm.
For the Egyptians' river ran with blood water.
It did what?
Ran with blood water.
Now, this is in a Josephus now, right? Like we said, it's not biblical. You know what I'm saying? Meaning he's not one of the prophets, but he was a credible historian. You know what I'm saying? Writing on the history of what occurred around that time. Right? Read on.
For the Egyptians' river ran with blood water at the command of God, insomuch that it could not be drunk. And they had no other spring of water neither.
Right. They had no other way of getting water onto their land. This was their main water source. Right? So imagine they go to drink from this water and the Lord unplugged it. So everything that caused this water to be filled with blood and now is inside of your system. You probably getting all type of disease, getting sick off of it. You knowing that this person done died off of it. Now you got nothing to drink. You sitting in the house, cotton mouth. Dry mouth, dried in the mug. You know what I'm saying? Sweating. Can't even take a shower, smelling like dead fish because the Lord judged you for the iniquity that you did against his people. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
For the water was not only of the color of blood, but it brought upon those that ventured to drink it, drink of it, great pains and bitter torment.
They getting stomach pains. Right? Read on.
Such was the river to the Egyptians, but it was sweet and fit for drinking to the Hebrews.
It was what?
Sweet and fit for drinking to the Hebrews.
Now hold on now. Isn't God all love and about everybody being equal and together? Why is the water bitter for the Egyptians but sweet for the Hebrews? Because God only loved the 12 tribes of Israel and nobody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he was giving them justice for the crimes that the Egyptians committed. Trooper Mathai put the picture up, you know what I'm saying, of water being red. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bible described it being filled with blood, turning into blood, man. Undrinkable water. Go ahead, Troop.
If I may, I don't think anybody, or if you could recall, about a year ago, during the COVID, when it started coming out and all the plagues, the Gulf Coast had all the dead fishes, exactly like how they describe in the Bible.
Good night.
It was the red tide with the red algae, which this right here caused all the fishes in the Gulf Coast to die and come up on the coastal lines. And it was so much of it that they had to get cranes, construction cranes. And from there, you know, the stench of it, then you had flies, and then you had, you know, frogs and all types of other stuff as well.
Damn right, man. Get a load of hand for that. You know what I'm saying? This is what the Lord has done in showing his power, right? Officer Isupk said he even cursed the water they had in vessels. They couldn't even drink out of their own vessels, let alone take a bath or nothing. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or wash their clothes. Or water is a very useful resource. You need it for damn near everything. You need it to survive. You dig what I'm saying? And when the Lord cursed that, man, listen, that would make anybody want to humble themselves. When do you think? But listen, the Egyptians still didn't take heed to that. So what the Lord had to do is bring another plague, right? Let's get Exodus chapter 8. Start me at verse 2.
The book of Exodus, chapter 8, verse 2. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs.
With what?
With frogs.
Read on.
And the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly.
Just like what Trooper Matthias just said, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the result of it. And all of it is not being done by coincidence. This is the Lord doing this. The scriptures say that the Lord is a man of war. When it comes to defending his nation, he is about that action, man. Right? Read on.
Which shall go up and come into thy house, and into thy bedchamber, and upon thy bed, and into the house of thy servant, and upon the people, and unto thine ovens, and unto thy needling
trolls. Con. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what the Lord did. Even in the beds and you're all up in your crib. See, my mom Dukes, most people can't even stand frogs. They just lose their mind once they see a frog. You know what I'm saying? Because they hate the side of it. Imagine it being all inside of your crib. Right? And not only do they produce an annoying noise and hop around, right? When they come together so close, they produce slime. So now you got slime coming out of your walls in your house. Slime, you walking through slime on your clothes. Your clothes all sticky and slimy now because you have so many frogs in your house, man. You know what I'm saying? You know why? Because that was one of the Egyptians' gods as well, right? Type me Heket. Yeah, Heket. Assuming this is Max, right? Young man Max says, Salaki, sir, we tend to get red tide up here in Pamina City Beach. When it hits, it kills fishes. The smell is so strong you can barely breathe. Dang. And your eyes burn like ammonia does. Ooh wee. You know what I'm saying? The Egyptians had to deal with it.
What's the mineral, Salaki?
Uh-huh.
What is the mineral? What's the mineral in the water? You know, the mineral in the water or
that caused it to be red? Yeah, somebody can look that up. I'm not really sure.
Salaki.
Come on, go ahead.
Talking about the red tide, why it makes the water like that.
Come on.
It's an algae that's in the water.
algae?
Yeah.
It's an algae in the water. So at certain times, it's kind of a defense mechanism for the earth. So
okay.
when the levels ain't right, it gives off it releases that algae, and just to kind of going through a recycle.
God, I can dig it. God, there you go. You know what I'm saying? Now I won't technically say it was red tide, right? But I do know that the Lord plagued it, and it resembles red tide today. You get what I'm saying? The same thing that comes with having red tide in your Gulf or in your stream, it matches up perfectly with the Lord's plague. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that goes wrong, every disease, every tide, red tide, whatever goes on, all of it is being done by the Most High. A hurricane, all of that is the Lord doing that, man. Because he is in control and he is the Most High power. He can do what he wants on this earth. And scientists try to make sense of it. You know what I'm saying? Well, guess what? If they understood the power of the Most High, they would throw away that science and free the children of Israel, man. You know what I'm saying? They will let our people go. You know what I'm saying? But they too proud and they believe in their technology and their wealth and their science or whatever they got, they can puff themselves up like Pharaoh did. You know what I'm saying? Well, the Lord is going to get ready to destroy their pride and destroy their gods, right? So this is the frog god, right? They probably can't even see it on the screen. All right. God. Yeah, it's too wild. You can somebody can just read that part right there, right?
In ancient Egyptian religion and mythology, Heket, also spelled Heket, was a frog-headed goddess who personified generation, birth, and fertility.
Right, the fertility god was a frog-headed goddess that the Egyptians worshiped, right? And you got so many Egyptologists or Kemet cats that's, making these gods as a metaphor to life. When that was all bullcrap. In ancient times, the Egyptians actually worshipped them as deities, meaning they prayed to them, they sacrificed to them, they worshiped these gods. It wasn't no metaphor to life, or maybe talking about this and the the creation when the sperm fell, created life and all. Nah, that's bull crap, man. You know what I'm saying? These are gods that they worship and bow down to. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord destroyed them and wiped them off of the face of the earth. You know, you trying to resurrect Egypt, but there's no way you can resurrect Egypt. A Negro wearing an ankh, you is not Egyptian. You know what I'm saying? You could try as hard as you can, but you are not an Egyptian, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't even practice Egyptian culture, right? They talk about us being Israelites. At least we practice being an Israelite. We dress like one, speak like one, celebrate the high holy days like one. You know what I'm saying? But as an Egyptian, what makes you Egyptian? What do you do that is so Egyptian? Right, because they skin dark. My skin dark, Egyptian skin dark. Oh, must be Egyptian. But what about you makes you Egyptian? What do you do that is so Egyptian? No Negro can answer that, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't out there bound down to a frog. What a nigga, you gonna think he lost his mind bound down to a frog. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Triple Cadet.
Worshiping Kermit the Frog and shit.
God, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing about you Egyptian, man. You make all that stuff fly. You know what I'm saying? The Egyptians don't even claim to be how you claim it to be. There is no universal Africa where all of them are united under Kemet. You know what I'm saying? The Lord divided each and every one of them, even through their dark skin. Well, guess what? He also divided the Israelites as well. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Osirah.
Sir, you know, the way that you're bringing this out is so heavy concerning the way that the Most High chose to plague Egypt. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Based on their own beliefs, based on the so-called gods that they worship. He's basically humiliating them.
God, right.
Showing them that their gods ain't what you think that is real is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically humiliating them.
God.
You know what I'm saying? Bringing upon them the gods they think are supposed to protect them, they're praying to, right. And plaguing them with their same beliefs.
Damn right. Damn right. You know what I'm saying? Get the Lord a hand for that one, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we pray for that today. What is the number one God that everybody follows today? Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Which revolves all around getting paid, money, selfishness. That's all it is. Well, guess what? One day God is going to destroy and curse the God of money. You're going to see the economy of America fall down. Then what you going to do? What you going to depend on then? Right? You depended on this God for all your life. You know what I'm saying? When the Lord gets ready to destroy this place, you're going to need a nation. You're going to need your own economic system. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we building here in the Isupk. We got rid of these idols. We got rid of these gods like Christianity, Islam, Christmas, whatever we was doing, and went and served the Most High. And what we pray for is the Lord to bring us justice for the hell that our oppressors caused us here in America, man. You know what I'm saying? This is justice that the Lord has given the Egyptians. It ain't nothing personal. It's justice. You did my people wrong. Well, guess what? It's gonna come back to you now, right? Let's get back to the Josephus part 2. Same chapter. I think is it broken down into verses as well? It should be like 14.2, something like that.
Come.
Okay, Khan, you can read that one.
2.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Josephus, book number 2, chapter 14.2. But when God saw that he was ungrateful,
mm-hmm.
and upon the ceasing of the calamity would not grow wiser,
mm-hmm.
He sent another plague.
All right, he didn't want to listen to the first one, so he sent another one. Read on.
He sent another plague upon the Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
An innumerable multitude of frogs consumed the fruit of the ground. The river was also full of them, insomuch that those who drew water had it spoiled by the blood of these animals, as they died in and were destroyed by the water.
Mm-hmm.
And the country was full of filthy slime as they were born and as they died. They also spoiled their vessels in their houses which they used.
Mm-hmm. Jumping around the crib. You know what I'm saying? Putting slime on their vessels. They can't even wash it off. It's infected with the frog guts. You know what I'm saying? And it also mentioned how the animals ate from that same river. You know, a deer runs up and try to drink from the Nile. Now it dies right there. You know, you got dead animals, dead fishes, dead frogs. You're in a whole mess. Right? Read on.
And were found among what they ate and what they drank.
Mm-hmm.
And it came in great numbers upon their beds.
Oh, dang, on their beds. Read on.
There was also an ungrateful smell, and a stench arose from them.
Frogs smell too now. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
As they were born,
Mm-hmm.
and as they died therein. Now, when the Egyptians were under the oppression of these miseries, the king ordered Moses to take the Hebrews with him and be gone.
Right.
Upon which the whole multitude of the frogs vanished away.
So he was like, you know what? All right. I'll try to see if I can soften my heart. You know what I'm saying? But the Egyptian pharaoh still didn't want to listen to this plague also. He seen the Nile turn into blood. He seen frogs all up in his crib, in the neighborhood, everywhere. Slime everywhere, smell, he stank everywhere. And he still didn't want to listen to that, man. Read on.
And both the land and the river, upon which the whole multitude of the frogs vanished away. And both the land and the river returned to their former natures. But as soon as Pharaoh saw the land free from this plague, he forgot the cause of it.
He did what?
He forgot the cause of it.
He puffed himself up. Got proud again. Like, you damn hero. You my slave. Who you think you is? Want to go out in the wilderness for 3 days? We're going to build this pyramid. You know what I'm saying? We making them rich. They're getting all the wealth from the Hebrews because they working hard day and night for only bread and water, man. Well, something had to change. God had to intervene to help save these people, or else Pharaoh would have wiped them off the earth, man. You think Pharaoh was sympathizing with the Egyptians, with the Hebrews, or what they had to deal with? You think he felt sorry for their children and for their kids for sweating and working and slaving day and night, man? He don't give a damn. He only caring about his own wealth, man, his own lust, his own pride, man. So the Lord had to shut that down, right? Let's get the next plague, right? Let's get Exodus 8 and 16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 8, verse 16. And the Lord said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch out thy rod, and smite the dust of the land.
You do what?
And smite the dust of the land.
Read on.
That it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt.
Now, what is the cause of this? Right? The light, yeah.
Come in your hair.
The stuff that come in your hair. Also, the insects that do what? Bite you. Now, you right. You dead right. I feel you. Yeah, they definitely do that.
Oh, Exodus 8 and 16. Lice, like you said, lice. The only lice I know about is the ones that, Esau get in their head. You know what I'm saying? And it makes them scratch. Gives them very bad damage. It's like bugs.
God.
I don't know if that's the lice you're talking about here, or it's something like a tick or something like that, like a tick or a mosquito. Or
something along of more of a tick. You know what I'm saying? A blood-sucking type of insect. You know what I'm saying? That's all up in their hair, destroying their fabrics, destroying their cattle, all of that stuff. So that way, once their cattle is destroyed, they got nothing to eat. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing to eat. They ain't got no fabric, none of that to put on. All of their resources is drying out because their cattle can't plow the shed. You know what I'm saying? They can't produce the vegetation that they would like to produce. You know what I'm saying? And this is what the Lord did in judging the Egyptians, right? Let's read on.
Okay. And they did so. For Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod
Mm-hmm.
and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man
Right.
and in
No, go ahead.
and in beasts.
Mm-hmm.
All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt.
Right. This is what the Lord did. You know why? Because they also worship lice. They also worship insects. Right. And they also had a God that they will pray to for vegetation, for things to grow on this earth. You know what I'm saying? So they can be prosperous on this earth. Right. Let's get Geb. Let's get the next Egyptian god, Geb.
Gab.
Yeah, Geb.
So if I can remember how to enlarge the screen, I enlarged it last time.
So good. Yeah, I know y'all probably can't see it, but God, Geb. All right, if you can read that a little bit for me.
Gab was believed to be the deity of earth.
Of what?
Of earth.
And what did God do? And go ahead.
It's like so he told Aaron to smite the earth.
To do what?
Smite the dust of the earth.
To do what?
Smite the dust of
Well,
the earth.
guess what he was doing? He was mocking their gods. Another god that the Egyptians worship, right? They followed Geb. They prayed to Geb and prayed to the earth so that their crops can grow and that they can be prosperous. This is where their god, Geb, came from. You know what I'm saying? It was an Egyptian god. And the Lord destroyed them to show that they was just an idol. Just a fiction of your imagination. And I'm the one that's in control of everything. Right? Let's read on.
Come. And the magicians.
Oh, my bad. Rod can finish with Geb.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the ancient Egyptians referred to earth as the house of Geb.
Mm-hmm.
According to the ancient Egyptians, Geb was the grandson of Ra and the son of Shu and Tefnut, the deities of air and moisture, respectively.
Like the Egyptians had all type of god essences, right? Essence, essence, and all that bull crap. Worshiping air that you read, worshiping the everything they worship, man. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord proved that they didn't have no power, right? So jump me back to verse 22. Baba Kashar, yeah.
Verse 19.
Verse 19. You can jump me to 22. So,
Okay. Book of Exodus, chapter 8, verse 22.
mm-hmm.
And I will sever in the day the land of Goshen.
Mm-hmm. What did the Lord do?
Sever? I said it right?
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
And I will sever in the day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarm of flies shall be there.
So what did the Lord do?
He
protected
the children of Israel.
By doing what?
Like separating.
Get it, brother. Ahead. You know what I'm saying? He separated us from the Egyptians. Right? Though our skin was brown and melanated and all of that stuff, the Lord still made a separation. While they was getting plagued by lice and flies and bugs and everything flying around, we was to what? We was in Goshen with none of that happening to us. Like we read in the Josephus, we had water to drink. The frogs was plaguing us. Neither was the flies plaguing us, right? Let's get that in Josephus. Give me the part 3. Guys, calm down, sir.
The God of flies or the God of bugs to the same.
Right. God. They should. Right. God. They should have prayed to their guys then, huh, sir?
It's like, if I could.
God, sir.
I had a precept on what you were bringing out about Egypt.
God.
About them having all them guys or whatever. This is Romans chapter 1. I don't know if you brought it out already.
Nah, sir.
All right, this is Romans chapter 1. It says, verse 22. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of an uncorruptible God into an image made like a corruptible man, into birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things.
Ooh, fire princess. You know what I'm saying? A frog, the Nile River,
Right.
some, right.
1 and 22 and 23.
All type of guys that had going on. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to read more on that? Some of it.
No, you can just, if you want to, you can go all the way down to 25, where it talks about them serving the creatures
More than the created cuddle kind. Yeah, nah, but yeah, that's a heavy precept, man. You know what I'm saying? And now people trying to mimic that today, thinking that they're gonna some way somehow resurrect the spirit of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you don't know nothing about being an actual Egyptian. You just see kings and gold and pharaohs and a pyramid, and you make yourself out to be an Egyptian. Right? You're just a slave for wealth. That's all you are. You're a slave for power. Right? You got your identity stolen from you, so you gravitate to whatever looks like royalty, whatever looks like is great. You get what I'm saying? When really the Lord loves the people that's on the bottom. He loves the underdog, the losing team. He ain't out there worrying about who's on top and who seems great right now. You know what I'm saying? He's concerned with the people on the bottom, man. You know what I'm saying? You was a slave in Egypt, not the pharaoh. You didn't have the gold and the unk in Egypt. You was a slave with making brick and mortar. The same way you the slave today here in America, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to say something, Sarah?
Come on.
Go ahead.
You know, our brothers and our sisters that want to be Egyptians. I mean, hopefully they tune in the class, or they have some understanding about how the Most High humiliated everything about Egypt during the time of Moses. You know what I'm saying? So, all you gotta do is close your mouth and open your ears and just pay attention.
Yeah, right.
This is lucky. This alone would have made me not want to be involved with it. This alone, like, man, you know what I'm saying? He humiliated them.
Right.
Your own gods, your so-called gods.
God. So you go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that while the whole time he was talking, I was trying to stop myself from just pulling precept after precept. He was talking about it, how they want to be like them, when the Bible says that Pharaoh was only raised up for one reason only, so that the Lord can destroy him. So they talk about how great Egypt is. Now all you got is some funeral homes,
burial mounds, coffins,
and some Carl Ross that they wrote on. So that also, you mean you got a bunch of I seen a sodomite walking around with a Nefertiti on, so that's where we at with it.
God. Right. They ain't had no laws and that govern them or protecting them from molestation and homosexuality. They was practicing that all up in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? If they wanted to get the higher knowledge, guess what they had to do? The same way they had those secret organizations today here in America. You know what I'm saying? If you want to reach a certain level of status in Egypt, you know what I'm saying, you have to engage yourself in some type of homosexual activity. This is what they practice in Egypt. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was nothing moral or righteous about Egypt just because it had gold and all that stuff. The reason why it was wealthy is because it was an Israelite by the name of Joseph. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, man, they just disgusting and evil and wicked like any other heathen, man, regardless of their skin color. Go ahead, Officer Rock.
Real quick, just like when it was a certain street teacher, Captain Tazaria was out on the street, and the brother, approached him, had the unk on, and Captain Tazaria said, "Brother, do you know you got a rod and a box around you?"
God.
They're still being humiliated to this day.
God.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you learn your lesson, you know what I'm saying?
God. Listen, I'll be dead if I got something like that around my neck.
A rod and a box.
You know what I'm saying? A rod, and they know what it represents. They know what the symbolism behind it and all that, and they still wear it around their neck. That is not you, Negro. Go ahead, Trooper Canot.
It's like, sir, Isaiah 31 and 1 be a good precept.
What that say?
It says, the book of Isaiah 31 and 1 says, like for all them people, the Egyptologists and all them folks, it says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, in the horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord.
Yeah, that's a good precept. You know what I'm saying? Trusting in Egypt. Even when we was in the wilderness, we wanted to go back. Am I right, sir? We wanted to go back so bad that we rebelled against Moses and turned away from the Most High, who did these plagues. Right? We was witness to the power of the Most High in Egypt. We seen these plagues while we were straight. That had to be a phenomenon. That had to be, you know what I'm saying? This is God doing this. But yet we still wanted to put our trust in the people that the Lord was destroying. That the people just looked at as nothing and as garbage, man. You know what I'm saying? And we do that today. We put our trust in a white man's money and make it our God. We put a trust in a white man's religion and make it our God. We put our trust in the white man's whatever he got, gold and wealth and cars, and we kill, steal, and worship it like it's a God. You know what I'm saying? Well, God is the most high power, Yahweh of Israel, is getting ready to destroy this place. And you're going to find out none of those things was God's. None of those things was really powerful on this earth. It was just idols that you killed and stole and followed and worshiped after, man. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you serve the most high power so you can be safe from the destruction that's getting ready to happen on this earth? All right? So let's get to Josephus and read it from there real quick. Khan Baba Shah.
So this is Josephus, book number 2, chapter 14.3. Accordingly, God punished his falseness with another plague, added to the former. For there arose out of the bodies of the Egyptians an innumerable quantity of lice, by which, wicked as they were, they miserably perished.
Miserably.
As not able to destroy this sort of vermin either with washes or with ointments. In which terrible judgment the king of Egypt was in disorder, upon the fear into which he reasoned himself, lest his people should be destroyed, and that the manner of his death was also reproachful.
Right. Any more on that? You can drop that one right there, right? You know what I'm saying? This is what the Lord did. They couldn't even get rid of it, even if they took 20 showers. They couldn't even to save their cattle from it, their household, their land from it. The Lord brought this plague to show them that the God that they worship, Gab, was just an idol. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing powerful about it. You worshiping the earth like it's something great and following Gab, when it was just an idol, man. You know what I'm saying? You good for time, so you can drop that one. Let's get the next plague, right? Even with that, he still want to listen. Let's get Exodus 9 and 8. Come, Baba Kashab.
The book of Exodus, chapter 9, verse 8. And the Lord said unto Moses and unto Aaron, take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh. And it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with glands upon man and upon beasts throughout all the land of Egypt. And they took ashes of the furnace and stood before the Pharaoh. And Moses sprinkled it up toward heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with glands upon man and upon beast.
Right. So what did the Lord do here? What is this fourth plague?
Salakis.
Go ahead. Come on.
She made them catch. What would be today? Rises? That's what you would call a boil?
Rises.
Like a boil, like the big knives that turn into pus when they bust.
God.
That's like a riser, right?
Riser. That's what they call it. Or rash. Yeah.
You know the riser that turns, they be a knot, and then they come to a head, and
God. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, God, yeah. Nah, yeah.
I don't know, like, that's
Yeah,
what.
that's what Job had all over him too. So like,
God. God. You know what I'm saying? The Lord plagued them because they had a God that they worship in medicine. So he cursed them with a disease, a plague that destroyed their bodily function. They gave them boils throughout their bodies, not only the Egyptian man, woman, and child, but also they beasts, they dog, they horses, you know what I'm saying? They cows, their goats, they sheep. Whatever that belonged to the Egyptian was being cursed with boils, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the god of Egypt, right? Let's get, is it Imhotep? Imhotep, the god of medicine. All right. This god also go by other names, Heka, or Isis, or one of them. Type in Heka, Heka. Right? And what that say? It don't got the picture of him? What it say?
so like,
Kind of concept.
yeah, if you look up also what is a rising on the body, you'll get boiled.
Get boils? Okay. Okay. Rising. I didn't know that was what it was called.
Judite.
A Judite
Yeah.
thing. I figured it was. You got the rising.
Country Judite.
Most side Christ, man. Yeah, big up the tribe of Judah, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be smooth with everything.
When I go try to go deeper into the pages,
It won't pop up.
probably has some problems.
You can just read the brief description that it gives right there. Just read from where it says Hakab, the god of. You can just read right there.
That I got highlighted.
Yeah, what you had highlighted.
Ka is the god of magic and medicine in ancient Egypt.
Of what?
Of magic and medicine.
Look, there was no magic and medicine then. At that time, they was worshiping this god and had no boils until one day boils started to come upon them, or rising started getting upon them, and they was like, "Hold on, where her cat? Why her cat ain't blessing me with their magic or giving me the medicine or the cure I need to bring these boils away?" You know why? Because the cat was just an idol. The Lord was plaguing the Egyptians, showing them that they had no power on this earth, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the Josephus real quick. Let's read about the historical encounter of this. You're in some at the 4. Shot. Can't find it? No, it's no sweat. Until you get, let's get Wisdom of Solomon 17-7. Whenever you get it, let me know. Oh, okay, my fault. Matthias. That's the picture right there, right?
God.
That's the God that they worship. Making an idol out after it, thinking that they can cure him. You got that for me real quick? Wisdom of Solomon 17-7. Go ahead.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon and the Apocrypha, verse 17-7.
Mm-hmm.
As for the illusions of art magic.
Of what?
Of art magic.
Right. This is what the Egyptians try to dabble in. Right. We know, of course, magic don't exist. You know what I'm saying? But what people do is get one concoction, mix it with another substance, and then boom, you get a certain type of reaction to it. And they call it magic. Right? The same way people got voodoo today, they ain't no spiritual power behind it. All they're using is some type of substance that makes your body react abnormal to it. You know what I'm saying? And they relied on this magic for medicine, for healing, for love, for whatever they used it for. You know what I'm saying? Well, the Lord cursed them and destroyed them and showing that they had no power on this earth, right? Read on.
They were put down, and their vaunting and wisdom was reproved with disgrace.
They were their what?
And their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace.
Now, what is that saying? Go ahead.
It is saying like they're trusting in their magic and their tricks and stuff. It was like it was vain.
Yeah, they pride themselves in it. You know what I'm saying? They had everything they had, right? They pride themselves. They got the magic. They can heal themselves. They use this when they sick. They use that and all of that. And they worship it like it was a god. Made a whole god out of it. You know what I'm saying? And they used to puff themselves up until the Lord plagued them, man. Now, that don't sound no different from what we go through today, from what your oppressor is doing. You know what I'm saying? He trusts in his own strength that he thinks that he has. His own abilities to create medicines and create all of this and everything that he needs so he can live on this earth. Right? There was a story not too long ago that a white man had a heart transplant with a whole pig so he could live longer on this earth. I remember Osiriah brought that out of camp. Go ahead. Now he dead now. You know what I'm saying? He died because he thought he could trust. He thought he could trust in the God of the white man and making this heart transplant. Go ahead.
What? All right, this shows how Esau is stupid. What would make you think that the heart of a pig would be healthy when eating pig?
Right. It don't make no sense, sir. I don't know. Listen.
That nigga was smelling like bacon and pork chop.
Your heart beats pig blood, nigga. That's what it beats, man. You know what I'm saying? And he thought he could trust so he can live long. Listen, it's your time to go. It's your time to go. Just go away gracefully. This is what the Lord wants for you. He wants you to die, right? You try to rush and find the nearest pig next to you so you can live on. Now, am I saying that you should not get medicine or do what you need to do and finding help for your body? I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that the Lord is in control of life and death. And if he wants you to die, you will die. No matter how much heart transplants you get, no matter whatever you do. If he wants you to die, you will die. You dig what I'm saying? And they thought they can rely on Hakah or whatever you call it, right? And that still ain't stopped. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the until you find the Josephus. Let's get the next guy. No sweat. Let's get Exodus chapter 9, verse 18. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 9, verse 18. Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as hath not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even unto now. Send therefore now and gather thy cattle and all that thou hast in the field. For upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field, and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them, and they shall die.
They shall do what?
They shall die.
You ever get hit by hail before? Yeah, God, that John will tickle that. You know, it's a whole ice rock hitting you across the head multiple times. Bop, 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 bop. You know, when it hits your ceiling, that's all you hear. It's hitting your ceiling, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is the plague that the Lord brought upon the Egyptians. You know why? Because the Egyptians used to worship the sky too. They used to pray to the sky. They had a god for everything on earth, right? Let's get the sky god. Let's get Nut, Egyptian god Nut.
It's like
Karuka.
they had hail the size of golf balls falling sometimes. The Lord, they get like that's how big. Just imagine them coming from thousands of feet in the air.
Man. Nut. Mm-hmm.
Breaking car windows and that.
All right, you can read that real quick.
Nut was the Egyptian sky goddess.
The what?
The Egyptian sky goddess.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Born of Su, god of air, and Tufnut, goddess of water and fertility. With her brother and husband Geb, the earth, she bore Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys.
This is just some, stories and idols that they made up, right? None of these people really exist. They didn't even exist, right? Newt don't exist. Gab don't exist. Imhotep don't. They just, fictional characters. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they worshiped back in the day. And the Lord plagued them and caused hail to come from the sky, killing their cattle, destroying the walls on their home, getting through their house. Whoever was caught outside was getting hit by this hail and being put to death. You know what I'm saying? All they're hearing is thumping and thumping day in and day out. You know what I'm saying? While they sitting in the crib. This is what the Lord did, man. Because they didn't want to listen to the Most High, right? They thought they was better than the Lord by keeping us in captivity, by oppressing us. They wanted to be the gods over us. You know what I'm saying? But we are the Lord's chosen people, man. The Lord chose so-called blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous people. He didn't choose nobody else. And he for sure made a separation with the Egyptians, right? That's the picture right there that Matthias got up, right? That's Newt right there. Or Nut, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah, nut for believing.
You are right. You a nut if you believe it, nut. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck you, sir.
Go ahead.
Now, if they represent Egyptians, right? It just clearly talked about how their guys just had incest, her husband and brother Gad. So, I mean,
that's what the brother just read, right?
Come on.
Her brother and husband.
Husband and brother.
Good. Good night. Good night.
That was common practice in Egypt.
Incest. It was like regular in Egypt, huh?
Actually, it's preferred. The gods did it. The pharaohs did it. All the people they kept, and they didn't have no laws against it like us. In the 42 confessions of my I didn't sleep with my brother or my sister.
And that's the God that our people want to practice today, right? We want to follow that. And in following that, we put on the spirit of these gods. Being sexual deviants, man. Wanting to sleep with whatever you see outside, man. Even if it's your own family. Being child molester and homosexuals, because that's the spirit of these Egyptian gods, man. Being lewd and disgusting and sexual deviants, man. That's the spirit of when you follow these gods, man. That's why all those Egyptologists come out to be some weirdos anyways, man. Letting their sons play with their rod and, doing weird stuff and raping girls and doing all type of wickedness, because that's the spirit that you follow by following these gods, man.
Salaki, if I may.
Go ahead.
King Tut is a product of incest as well. His parents were brothers and sisters. And that's why he came out with a cleft foot.
Dang. They just sleep or whatever in the Egyptian culture, huh? You know what I'm saying? Well, this is something that the Lord required of us not to follow, man. Right? I don't know if you got the Josephus pulled up.
Come on.
Okay, you can read
The way you got this set up is trash.
Yeah.
They all set up like that. Because I got one on. It's gonna give you the book, and then the chapter. That's what you're talking about.
Come on. Yeah, they got it broken down. They got it broken down like the Constitution.
Yeah, God. That's why you had to go to the book cover 2 to find what he was talking about. But it'll tell you what it's talking about.
Yeah, I just found it again.
Khan, if you can just read 3 and 4 briefly.
3
So,
and 4?
Khan, 3 was
3 was about
the god of medicine.
lice.
Yeah, the lice.
Okay.
No, that was the boils, right? No, 3 was the lice.
Okay.
Yeah, Khan.
4. Yeah, 4 was about the bulls.
Okay, Khan. Khan, Baba Kashah.
Okay. The book of Josephus, book 2, chapter 14, point 3. Accordingly, God punished his falseness with another plague, added to the former. For there arose out of the bodies of the Egyptians an innumerable quantity of lice, by which, wicked as they were, they miserably perished.
Right. I think you read that one already, right? Let's get 4. Khan, let's get
So 4 is, but when Pharaoh did not even then yield to the will of God, but while he gave leave to the husbands to take their wives with them, yet insisted that the children should be left behind, God presently resolved to punish his wickedness with several sorts of calamities, and those worse than the foregoing, which yet had so generally afflicted them. For their bodies had terrible boils, breaking forth with glands, while they were already inwardly consumed. And a great part of the Egyptians perished in this manner. But when the king was not brought to reason by this plague, hell was sent down from heaven.
The what?
Hell was sent down from heaven.
Hell sent down from heaven from the Lord, knocking them out, killing their beasts. Right? Let's drop that for time's sake, right? Let's get the next God. Let's get Exodus 10 and 12. Right? And I'm using the word God very loosely because these are not gods at all. These are just idols that the Egyptians set up. But the Lord plagued them in this type of manner to mock their so-called gods. Right? Because every plague that we read about, there's a Egyptian god behind it that the Egyptians used to worship. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord is showing that there was not no God or no power on this earth. Right? Somebody get Exodus 10 and 12.
Exodus chapter 10.
You gonna read it, sir?
And the Most High said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up upon the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land, even all that hell hath left.
So they can eat all the what?
Eat all the herb of the land, even all that the hell have left. Keep going. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Most High brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the coast of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them there were no such locusts as they.
Right.
Neither after them shall be such.
Right. That's how many locusts that the Lord brought through. Now, these locusts did what to the Egyptians? What was the reason the Lord brought locusts through? Go ahead.
I know they devour crops.
They do what?
They devour crops.
They devour crops, right? They eat up your vegetation. They eat up all your crops and everything that you got. So you can do what?
Starve.
Right. Which is, if you starve, you end up you're gonna die, right? So you need these crops to live. You need the vegetation, these fruits, these vegetables to live. Right? The Lord was doing another plague and mocking one of their gods that they worship was the God of life. Right? The vegetation is what brought them life. They had living plants, living vegetables, living crops and wheats and grains that they needed in order to survive. And the Lord brought locusts through and destroyed all of that, man. All their years of work from upon the time where Joseph warned them about the famine that was going to come on the land. And until that time was wiped away by locusts. You know what I'm saying? Think about all the storing that they try to do to prepare themselves for the famine. They got rich off of the famine. This is their money that's being destroyed also. All their wealth and riches is being destroyed. Right? Let me get Osiris. Egyptian god Osiris. Oh, my bad, Mathai. What's that right there? Look at that. There's a picture. And I think that if you could explain that picture, Baba Kushal Mathai, I don't think that picture is not too long ago that happened, right?
Donald Khan. This is during around the COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
The locust plagued East Africa, and it was billions, they said, killing all their crops.
Look at that. He trying to fight them off.
East Africa, which, that's where Egypt is.
Egypt is at. Right. Exactly, man. You know what I'm saying? There's no possible way. When the Lord comes through, there's nothing that you can do, man. What that said.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Osiris, one of Egypt's most important deities, was god of the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
He also symbolized death, resurrection, and the cycle of Nile floods that Egypt relied on for agricultural fertility.
For what?
Agricultural fertility.
Read on.
According to the myth, Osiris was a king of Egypt who was murdered and dismantled by his brother Seth.
Right. This is who they worship, right? Osiris was known as the god of agriculture, the god of fertility, the god of death, the god of life, the god of the afterlife, the god of resurrection. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord destroyed all that hard work and their hopes that they had in this God right here. They had all high hopes in Osiris, and the Lord brought locusts through and ate up all their crops. Now they can't survive. They're going to starve. How they going to make money? How they going to eat? What are they going to do to take care of their children, their young, their pets, their cattle, their beasts? The Lord is cutting them down little by little. You know what I'm saying? Cutting them down, bringing their pride down. Because this is what they pride themselves on their gain and on their wealth and what they had on their land. Meanwhile, abusing and oppressing the children of Israel, right? Let's drop that. Let's get another one, right? Let's get Exodus 10 and 21. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, the book of Exodus, chapter 10, verse 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt.
That what?
May be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days.
Right. Why did the Lord bring darkness upon Egypt? What God that the Egyptians used to worship that brought them light? That brings everybody light. Go ahead. The sun. The sun. Right? And what is that God called?
Salaki.
Go ahead.
Is it Ra?
Khan. You know what I'm saying? Get a brother ahead. You know what I'm saying? What they call the eye of Ra or whatever. The sun god, what the Egyptians followed, you know what I'm saying, was Ra. And they worshiped the sun. They prayed to the sun. They believed in the sun until one day the Lord brought darkness throughout all the land of Egypt. So dark that you could feel it. You know what I'm saying? That thick darkness. You couldn't even see 2 feet in front of you. You're hearing all type of noises and creatures in the background. Don't know where it's coming from. Think about the frightening that it brought to the hearts of the Egyptians. How scared you have to be in that thick darkness. You dig what I'm saying? You just sitting there and hear it. You don't even know where it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Somebody come up to touch you, you think somebody's trying to harm you, put them to death, and that be your sister when the light comes back on. But that's your brother that that try to brush against you. He didn't see you there. You pull out your sword and just swipe, crazy, you know what I'm saying, not seeing anything. Once the sun comes back up, you find your dead brother laying right there. You dig what I'm saying? Like, this is what they were suffering, going through it. You know why? Because they made us suffer. So the Lord returned it upon their own heads. You was gonna say something, sir? My bad. Get to what? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And you just gotta kind of like visualize or realize the type of darkness that they experienced. You know what I'm saying? You ever been, no light from the stars, no street lights, no candlelight, no nothing. I mean, just pure darkness.
Right.
You open the room, and it's not a single strand of light coming through anywhere. You can't see in front of you. You can't see in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? It's pitch black. You know what I'm saying?
God. You know what I'm saying? Shalom. Big up, Ephraim. What's going on? All right. We do classes out here in Kissimmee, man, every Tuesday. What you need to do is call the number on our Google page. Type in Isupk Florida. Get in contact with us, man. We in Orlando as well. I live in Orlando, right? We do classes in Kissimmee. All you got to do is call the number, man. We link up, break down these scriptures, man. We got to raise up this nation. And the only way possible if we come together. If we stay separate and divided and thinking that we can be individuals, we're going to continue to be destroyed. What we got to do is put away our pride and come into this body. All right? So let's get the last one real quick. Let's get Exodus 12 and 11.
Okay.
You go ahead.
Book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 11. And thus shall ye eat it. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. Ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
It is the what?
Lord's Passover.
Now is the time for us to get out of there, right? They got plagued 9 times, and the Lord is getting ready to bring another one, and He's saying, prepare yourself, because after this one comes, you're gonna have to leave out of here, right? Read on.
Come. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn.
He would do what?
Smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast.
Both who?
Man and beast.
Man and beast. Children, dogs, whatever it was, the firstborn roach died on that day. You dig what I'm saying? Whatever existed in the land of Egypt, and it was a firstborn, and it belonged to the Egyptians, the Lord put it to death, man. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord prepared us for it. The same way He prepares for it today in the Isupk. You know what I'm saying? We had to make those unleavened bread so we can have something to eat. Now, what's the reason behind it being unleavened bread? Who knows that? Go ahead.
We didn't have time to make regular bread.
Right. Because once you make regular bread, you got to let it sit for a while. Right? That's where the leaven comes from. Right? It comes from the bacteria in dough. But we didn't have time to sit back and just let the bacteria grow on that dough for it to rise. We had to just make the dough, get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we had unleavened bread. Because the Lord put these Egyptians firstborn to death. Now it's time to go. Now it's time to find a land of our own. Right? Read on.
Come. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial.
Now read the firstborn of the land.
For I will pass through, it's like verse 12. I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt.
Against what?
All the gods of Egypt. Will I execute judgment. I am the Lord.
Right. Now, the last God the Lord brought judgment upon was who? Go ahead. Who was the last God? Right? They had the Nile God, they had the sun God, they had a God of fertility, they had a God of magic, they had a God of medicine. But there was but one God that the Lord had to make sure to prove that it was no power on this earth. And he did it by this last plague.
Like,
Who was the most important figure that died of the firstborn?
Pharaoh's son.
The what?
Pharaoh's son.
So who was the God that the Lord destroyed?
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh, because he was looked at as a god. We worship Pharaoh. We looked at the Egyptians like they're gods, like the same way we do to our oppressor today. We want to be like them so bad that we go out and bleach our skin, blonde our hair, trim our ways to be more like our oppressor. Because we look at them as a god. But the Lord killed every firstborn, including Pharaoh's son, and shown that Pharaoh was not no god on this earth. And the Egyptians was not no god. They didn't have no power on this earth. But it was only but one power, which is the Lord, Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? Let's get Wisdom of Solomon 17:5 real quick.
Come.
Go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 5. No power of the fire might give them light.
Mm-hmm.
Neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night.
Mm-hmm.
Only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not.
You read on.
As for the illusions of art magic, they were put down, and their vaunting and wisdom was reproved with disgrace.
Read me verse 10, Bible Shah.
They died for fear,
Mm-hmm.
denying that they saw the air, which could of no side be avoided.
Mm-hmm.
For wickedness condemned by their own witness is very timorous, and being pressed with conscience always forecast grievous things.
Mm-hmm.
For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the course.
Mm-hmm.
Course.
The help. Mm-hmm. Succor.
Which reason offereth,
Mm-hmm.
and the expectation from within, being less, counteth the ignorance more than the cause which bringeth the torment.
Mm-hmm. God.
But they, sleeping the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable, and which came upon them out of the bottoms of the inevitable hell.
Mm-hmm.
Inevitable hell.
Right. Meaning they talking about all the suffering that they went through, right? Because they betrayed the only help that they can actually get on this earth. And that was from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? By betraying them, by putting his people into captivity, into bondage. The Lord proved and showed to them that there was no power but him. Right? Read on.
Come. We're partly vexed with monstrous partisans, and partly fainted, their heart failing them,
Mm-hmm.
for a sudden fear, apparitions, and partly fainted, their heart failing them, for a sudden fear and not looked for came upon them.
Mm-hmm.
So then whatsoever there fell down was straightly kept, shut up in a prison without iron bars.
Mm-hmm.
For whether he were husband or shepherd or a laborer in the field, he was overtaken and endured that necessity which could not be avoided.
Mm-hmm.
For they were all bound with one chain of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it were a whistling wind or a metallic noise of birds among the spreading branches, or a pleasing fall of water running violently, or a terrible sound of stone cast down, or a running that could not be seen of
Right.
skipping beasts.
That's what the darkness that they had to experience. All that is going on. Skip me down to the part where it says the Lord did this to show the difference. I forgot where it was in 17. He did all of this in showing that the Egyptians was separate, or not as the Israelites were. Do you see that somewhere over there? Should be in there. You know what I'm saying? The Lord did this in showing how separate we were from the Egyptians. Like, meanwhile, they had no light. They getting plagued, but we had all the light. Do you see that somewhere over there? Where it says, but the Israelites had the light, and something like that along those lines. Probably chapter 18.
You know wisdom something?
Kind of.
Oh, okay. You know it says in the Exodus 11, right?
Kind of calm, but it was a part in Wisdom of Solomon that described how the plagues that they was going through. You'll find that, but I mean, I'll get to Exodus 11 in the meantime, if we have time. Nope. There goes Haman. So it's not in there. It's not included in that joint.
I don't see it, sir.
Ah, man. Should be in there. All right. No sweat. No sweat. You know what I'm saying? But this is what the Lord did in showing the difference between the two. You know what I'm saying? And this is the day that we celebrate, right? We just came from Passover. Now we have the 7 days of unleavened bread. You know what I'm saying? That we celebrate each year, and remembering when the Lord destroyed our enemies. When the Lord plagued Egypt and plagued Pharaoh and plagued all their gods and everything that they believe in, just so he can save niggas. Just so he can free so-called blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we pray for today. This is why we practice Passover and practice the high holy days, so the Lord can look down upon us and have enough mercy to want to destroy our enemies and free us from the hell that we going through, man. You know what I'm saying? You gonna say something? Say my bad.
Oh, no, I just had the precept line up if you wanted it.
Oh, Bible shot. So what was it?
Yeah, this is Exodus chapter 11, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
It says, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
Right.
Against man.
My fault. I was gonna say the dogs. You know what I'm saying? Was silent. Right. Read on.
Against man or beast, that you may know that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
He put a difference between one dark-skinned people and another dark-skinned people. You know what I'm saying? He put a different. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that shirt on camera. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on up, sir. Come on up, sir. You know what I'm saying? Get a brother here, man. You know what I'm saying? If you can see, look at his shirt. You know what I'm saying? Africans sold Israelites. The Lord put a difference between the two, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we are not the same people. And we're going to remember that even when Christ returns. There's always going to be a day where we're going to remember how the Lord separated us from our enemies, man. And don't you ever forget it, black man. Hispanic man, or indigenous man. With that, we're gonna end the class, man. The water, everybody came through. Once again, a big shout out to everybody in Florida, man. Give yourselves a hand with this Passover that worked tirelessly. You know what I'm saying? Every officer, every trooper. You know what I'm saying? Big up to y'all troopers as well. Trooper Kanat. You know what I'm saying? Trooper Mathia. Trooper Mashat. My main man, La Ya. You know what I'm saying? All y'all brothers. Trooper Gabar. You know what I'm saying? The Shah. You know what I'm saying? Big up all y'all officers, all y'all brothers, man. Made this possible. You know what I'm saying? So we can remember how the Lord killed those stinking Africans, man. And with that, y'all, we say shalom.